Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Bench Buster Show, coming to you tonight from the NAWA Family Affair Event in Lenoir, North Carolina. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special edition of the Bench Buster Podcast, coming to you tonight from the NAWA event here in Lenoir, North Carolina. I thought tonight would be a cool idea to do a special edition podcast telling all my great listeners out there about life on the road. And for me, life on the road started when I was just a very young boy. My parents used to always, or mostly my dad, he liked to travel. Every other weekend we were traveling somewhere. One weekend we might go visit his family in Gastonia, North Carolina, and then the next weekend we're visiting my mom's family in Morganton, North Carolina. So as a child growing up, I spent a lot of time, a lot of weekends driving and riding with my dad, and so that kind of installed that into me. So I love traveling. I have been, I've seen quite a bit of cool things in my life. Got to go out and visit L.A., which was always a dream of mine. I've done that a couple of times now. And I've even went up to Boston, Massachusetts a few times, and I like it there too. But I always like seeing new things, and that's one of the things that pro wrestling has kind of given me. It given me a chance to go out and travel and see different places and different towns and small towns, big towns, middle-sized towns, and find really cool, interesting people, and also really nice restaurants and places to eat. But tonight I'm here at the NAWA event. I'm very excited about tonight's match. I'm going to be wrestling one of the greats in this sport, Bulldog Chad Burt. Chad has been, like me, he's been all over. Although Chad has been to the big time. Chad has wrestled for the WWF, WCW, and actually Chad is married to, in my opinion, the greatest valet of all time, the Perfect 10 Baby Doll. So I'm hoping to get Chad on my podcast tonight and talk to him a little bit. But anyway, I hope you fans will enjoy tonight's podcast. It's going to be a little special edition. It definitely won't be as long as most podcasts, but any event, I hope you fans out there will enjoy the podcast today. All right, fans, I'm backstage here at the NAWA show, and this is the first for the Bench Buster Show podcast. For once, for the first time, I have got the newly crowned NAWA Tag Team Champions, the Burke County Boys, and me and these guys are no strangers to each other. I've been with these guys, known these guys since the day I started wrestling. I'm sitting here with none other than Dangerous Donnie and Wild Man James Brody. How you guys doing after this? After winning the titles tonight?
Oh, it feels like a relief. We've been chasing these tag belts for a while. We had them a few times and just had them jerked away from us. Tonight we sealed the deal. We got them. We got them home. Hey, we're gonna keep them. Tony, it's good to see you, brother. Like we go way back over 25 years with you. Have always considered you a brother, and glad to hear your new show.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I got to look back in time. When I first got into wrestling, I was 125 pounds soaking wet. Nobody said I'd make it, and 25 years later, I'm still here hanging with you guys, and it's great. James Brody, what have you been up to?
Oh, man, I've just been going and going and going, and it's like he said, we've been chasing these tag team titles for a while, and then we had Jeff Patton step out and throw this bounty thing on our heads, which actually was pretty fun for a little bit there. So, I've just been, same old, getting in there and going at it and trying to stay young. But how's your family, man? It's been a little bit since I seen you, and I was wanting to figure out how your family was doing.
How's little man?
Man, he's doing good. He's taking Taekwondo now, so he's learning.
He's beating everybody's asses.
I tell you, he already is.
Speaking of Jeff Patton, how far back we go with that, folks? Way, we were beating him, and
30 years.
We were beating him and his guys up, back in the day. Well, one of those might have been you for a few, times here and there, brother.
The pain thing was pretty,
That Palace of Pain thing was pretty big there for a while.
Yeah, really.
Basically, the only people that could beat him was Burke County.
But actually, at one point, James Brody was in that palace with us.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've been around. I've done the heel. I've done the baby face. I've done it all just about. But you know, the main thing for me is to hear the roar of that crowd. I love it. It keeps my blood pumping. It keeps me young. And I would like to thank all the fans that support indie wrestling. I love you guys.
And you know, at one time, they stuck him with Outlaw Wayne Taylor, and at one time he wished he could have had a tag team match by himself. And actually, us guys that were wrestling him also wished that very same thing.
I tell you guys, you know, I look back over the 25, 30 years that we've known each other, and man, you look back, all the guys that were around when we started, they're gone. It's just us, man. We're still here.
Yeah,
We're still sticking around, and I am still yet to be. I've asked around, and nobody has still defined whatever the hell a Super Slam is.
I knew you was gonna say that, but I think I seen one in Japan.
But it wasn't on Big Donnie.
No, it wasn't on Big Donnie.
I tell
And the
you,
thing about it, I was like, you know, if you tell me what it is, it might happen. But he never could tell me, and I never was gonna do it.
that's okay. Bayou Billy, he's falling behind. Another one of those guys that you know he had the size, but he didn't have the mental ability to stay with it. He had a good look, muscular and everything else. He played football in school.
Yeah.
He and I went to high school together, but when it comes to the wrestling business, he just didn't get it there.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't, and they just the grind. The grind of the road and the grind of, hey, you gotta make this town. You gotta be here. We're in Lenoir tonight. Tomorrow night we're in Charlotte. We don't know what's up with the next week. It's just making each one of those, because if you don't establish that name, what are you building?
Exactly.
What's somebody gonna remember? What's somebody gonna remember about you? That is one thing that somebody is gonna remember about the Burke County boys, about Terrific Tony. They're going to remember we established ourselves for over 20 years doing what we love, but we done it with a purpose to entertain the fans and make everybody happy. The fans. I remember they used to leave the Hamvets. People would leave that place, a little place, a little hick town, Glen Alpine. They left. They loved it. We were like superstars.
I just wish we could do one more show in Glen Alpine.
I do too. I would love to. I'd love to just go inside that old building again. And man,
you talk about that. I actually drove by that old building a few months back. Now there's a fence around it. You can't even get in the parking lot. But even though when I pulled in that parking lot, man, so many memories started blowing through my mind about coming in there and learning and walking up to you guys and going, I want to be a wrestler. And everybody looked at me like, this kid, 125 pounds? But I'll never forget. James Brody gave me the best advice. He said, Tony, if you're going to be the bad guy, you got to be a really, really cheating bad guy.
Yes.
And I took that and I ran with it. And 25 years later, I wrestle either way. I can be the good guy, I can be the bad guy, but I have to tell you, I much prefer being the bad guy because it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
So well. You always did.
I appreciate that.
It's like I told him, if you're gonna do this, everything you're gonna have to live, eat, and sleep cheat.
That's it. And going by that old building, I still drive by it, but there's not one time I don't go by it that I don't think of the good days. And I remember our lost brother, Scotty McKeever.
Yeah.
Just all the good times with them in there, the heartbreakers, and it was a phenomenal time, and I'd love to get back to those times.
Yeah, Scotty McKeever was a great talent. He taught us a lot, in those days. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. I'm gonna try to get one more interview before I end this podcast. But again, congratulations again on your NAWA tag team titles.
Good match tonight, man. You went out there and wore it out. It was hot in that building. I know you was burned up, man. You needed 3 showers after it.
I did. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
I'm sitting here now with the NAWA promoter, Jason Freeman. Jason, another successful night here in Lenoir. What are your thoughts?
We had a really good show. We had 8 matches. 2 title changes, a heavyweight title defense. It had 5 more minutes in. Adam James delivered a low blow to Big Time Yas. You know that feud's not over with. Burke County boys won the tag team titles from the Golden Thunder, members of the Carolina Cartel there. Up-and-comer Lucky Ali beat Little Donnie for the Western Carolina titles. You know, Lucky's going to be around a long time. Bulldog Chad Bird was here tonight. Him and Tony Bench had a good one. It was a great show. King Craig Classic was with us. Leo Pride. We had a lot of great wrestlers here tonight.
Yeah, you know, Jason, I'm not saying this because you're standing here. I tell a lot of people this, but NAWA to me is like the old Crockett days. You know, you're constantly bringing in fresh faces. It ain't the same match every single month. And everything's different. I think that really sets you apart from all the other indie promoters.
Thank you, Tony. It means a lot to us. We strive to have a variety, you know, the spice of life. You got to have your core base, and then but you got to bring new guys in. That you can't have the same 12 guys wrestling each other or different opponents every time. You got to bring fresh faces in, and we try to do that, and we work hard at it, and I'm glad people recognize it.
Very good. Well, when is the next NAWA event coming up?
I think it will be Sunday, June 2nd. We have the Summer Sizzler #2. It's going to be at the Burke County Fairgrounds in Morganton, North Carolina. It's a Sunday night at 6 o'clock. We have Adam James will defend the unified title against Montana Black, everybody's favorite monster. We have a 3-way for the NAWA tag team titles. The Carolina Cartel of Golden Gladiator #2 and Chris Thunder Anderson versus the Burke County boys, who are our new champions, versus Chad Bird and Mr. #1 George South, a legend in anybody's book.
Oh, wow, then now that's going to be a great show right in itself. Well, Jason, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being on our podcast, and we look forward to seeing some more NAWA shows in the future.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon.
What an amazing night here in Lenoir, North Carolina for the NAWA. Show's over. Ring has been torn down. Building's clearing out. And I'm about to get in my slick black Cadillac and head back to Lake Norman. But I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's events, the podcast, and some of the interviews that we did. You can check us out. The next show will be on this Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Bench Buster Show, special edition, From the Road.